65 million years ago, dinosaurs disappeared from the face of our planet. Today, these same dinosaurs can be found through the science of paleontology, unearthed as fossilized skeletons, and their descendants can be seen living and thriving amongst the lineages of our modern-day birds and reptiles. The past is now the present, and our mission is to bring you closer than ever before to a world of prehistoric adventure. This is Beyond Dinosaurs. The Black Hills, a beautiful yet isolated range of mountains that jut from South Dakota's Great Plains, are a wonder to behold. Their dark, jagged peaks are iconically prehistoric in their own right, and the wilderness that surrounds them is an adventure lover's playground. Yet it's something beyond the mountains that has drawn us to this unique location. Today we are visiting the Black Hills Institute of Geological Research. Founded in 1974, they are an independently owned and operated establishment that specializes in the discovery, excavation, and preservation of fossils. Over the next several days, we will be working alongside Pete Larson, who is arguably the world's foremost authority in everything that has to do with Tyrannosaurus rex. You may recognize Pete, and rightfully so, as he was featured in the Emmy Award-winning documentary Dinosaur 13. He is renowned for having unearthed 10 of the 40 most complete T-Rex skeletons in history, including Sue, who currently resides at the Chicago Field Museum, and Stan, who is proudly displayed at the Black Hills Institute. Morning, Pete. How are you?
Oh, hi, Coyote. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. I would say that you have your hands full with what looks like a pterodactyl skeleton?
Well, it's actually a pteranodon.
Pteranodon, okay.
But very close relative.
Yeah.
They actually belong to the same group because they have a very short tail. Actually, tail's off of this one right at the moment. But
okay.
I'm just going to check out and see if I got this fitting just right. Yeah, that looks okay.
You are renowned for your discoveries of Tyrannosaurus rex skeletons, and that is really what we are hunting after today. So what I want to do now, if you're cool with this, Pete, is actually go behind the scenes here at the Black Hills Institute, see some of the things that nobody gets to see, some of your treasures, some of your Tyrannosaur treasures, and if we're lucky, maybe I'll even get hands-on and we'll get everything up close for the camera. Sound good?
That sounds fine. Let's go to the research collections room and I'll show you some really cool stuff.
Here we go, guys. Pete is truly a man of mystery, so we had no idea what was in store as he led us deep into the catacombs of the Black Hills Fossil Archive.
Back there, that's all unprepared fossils waiting to be prepared.
That's all fossils?
That's all fossils back here.
Let's check this out real quick. Rows and rows of bones encased in plaster jacketing stretched as far as the eye could see. All discoveries from a lifetime spent searching for prehistoric giants that disappeared from our planet millions of years ago. To say that we were in awe is an understatement.
This is, you hear that? This is Triceratops stuff, real stuff.
Kind of Triceratops alley, I suppose you might say.
Okay.
We saw Triceratops bones by the dozens, hadrosaur skeletons galore, and even the remains of prehistoric whales that will one day hopefully find their way to a museum display room.
On some of these whales that we've collected in Peru, you find actually preserved baleen. So even the baleen, which is hair, is preserved.
You can see that shape of that whale there,
Yeah.
just that rib cage perfectly preserved.
Yep, and here's
that is a cool find.
For nearly half a century, Pete has been discovering the remains of creatures that seem to be lost in time. And while the crew and I were like kids in a fossil candy shop, these were simply the unprocessed specimens. Our next stop was Pete's off-display collection, the true relics of priceless design and timeless wonder. Tyrannosaurus rex is without question the undisputed tyrant king of the dinosaurs. This predatory giant is Pete's all-time favorite, and like Pete, it's the one prehistoric animal that is primarily responsible for sparking my love of these ancient creatures. So as we traversed the dark corridors beneath the Institute, I could feel he was leading us towards something truly special.
So this is like a Tyrannosaur archive down here.
It is. It's an also archive for other fossils too. But,
okay.
But we probably, when researchers come here, well, for instance, here's a.
This is just a T-Rex arm just sitting here.
This is a cast. It's not an original, but it's this is an exact reproduction of what Sue's arm looks like, and you can see it's got muscle scars here, and if you turn it over, this is kind of cool. This is what's called an avulsion. This is where one of the muscles, the coracobrachialis, attached to the humerus, and it was literally pulled out of its hold where the tendons would attach the muscle to the bone. Those tendons were pulled out and they reattached. So whatever they used their arms for, they used them a lot.
And that's interesting because people look at the arm of a Tyrannosaurus Rex and say, look at how little this is, only these 2 fingers, but look at how large that arm is. Now, this is a cast of Sue's arm, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Sue is the most complete Tyrannosaurus skeleton ever unearthed, which, as we know, you were a part of that excavation.
And awesome preservation. It's just a wonderful, wonderful fossil.
Wow. Something inside me could feel the presence of a large predator. It's like an electrical charge that triggers the hairs on the back of your neck to stand on end. And as Pete approached a large white cabinet, I already knew what was waiting inside.
Okay, we're about to reveal our first glimpse at Tyrannosaur fossils. And this is Foxy Lady. Pete, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
I've been ready all my life. These are bones from the inside of the lower jaw. Like reptiles, dinosaurs have many bones in their lower jaws. We just have 2. We have a right and a left mandible.
Right.
But these guys have 14, literally 14, 7 paired bones in their lower jaw. Okay, so we're getting down into some more fun stuff.
Whoa.
So this is, again, part of the skull. This is part of the palate. I'm just going to pull this out so you can kind of see it. This is really cool because you see these marks here? Those holes? Those should not be there.
Really?
Those holes were actually produced by a bite of another Tyrannosaurus Rex. You see how they're kind of crushing in, but healing.
Yeah. This is like a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull puzzle in here. Wow,
So
look
here's
at that.
Here's some vertebra. This is a caudal vertebra, tail vertebra from this beast.
Oh goodness, look how big that is.
That's as big as my head. Bigger.
Pretty cool. So here's one more drawer.
Gosh. Oh, look at that.
This is one of the dentary. So the dentary is the tooth-bearing element of the lower jaw. And this is kind of cool. You can see there's a tooth that's just erupting right there. Yep. And one that was broken off. And then some of them that came loose. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what some of these teeth are like when they come out of the jaw.
Okay.
I didn't let you hold any bones yet.
Yes, I know. You have something in mind.
I have something in mind that's a little more special. So here's a cabinet, a very fun cabinet, and another one down below it.
So far we have looked at an incredible number of Tyrannosaur fossil specimens, but now we're going to look at what you consider or call prepared teeth.
Prepared teeth. Once we clean all the glue off the surface.
Wow, man.
The holy grail of dinosaur fossils.
So
may I?
This is absolutely the world's most famous Tyrannosaur tooth. More than 1 million people have held a cast of this tooth.
Yes.
But not very many people have held the original tooth. You're one of probably 30 people that have held that tooth.
Getting to hold the tooth of a Tyrannosaurus Rex humbles you to the bone, and its 65 million year old power radiates through your very being. To know that an animal of this size once walked our planet is a staggering realization you can only comprehend and come to grips with as you run your fingers down its serrated edges. To know that this very tooth pierced the flesh of countless dinosaurs is a haunting realization that is powerful enough to evoke nightmares. But to see the skull is something altogether more impressive. So we left the fossil vault behind and headed upstairs to witness the Black Hills' breathtaking collection of dinosaur skeletons.
Wow.
So what do you think?
This is it. The collection of the relics. Amazing, Pete. Amazing. You can't even Imagine what it feels like to stand here right now, absorbing in all these skeletons.
The first time you enter the Black Hills Hall of Dinosaurs, it immediately feels as if you have been transported back to the Mesozoic era. Dinosaur relics from all three periods that made up the age of reptiles fill the room. From the Triassic to the Jurassic, and finally the icons of the Cretaceous surround, tower above, and nearly swallow you. We walked amongst the giants, a sense of awe sweeping over us like a tidal wave of prehistoric wonder. And finally, we found our way to Stan. Standing nearly 15 feet tall and measuring close to 40 feet in length, he is one of the most complete T-Rex skeletons ever unearthed. And he stands as the Institute's proud centerpiece.
This is the majority of Stan's skeleton, and this
is Stan's original skull.
This is the
left
skull.
side.
Now, for everybody out there watching, just so that they understand, Stan's skull is one of the most complete Tyrannosaurus skulls ever unearthed, and the most perfectly preserved skull, which has provided us with just an unbelievable amount of information about this prehistoric giant, correct?
It is. It's definitely the most important T-Rex skull that has been discovered to date, for a lot of reasons. One is because it can really show us this kinesis in a way that we couldn't see in the other skulls. In addition, it's the skull that has been seen by most people in the world. There are something like 60 skeletons of Stan in museums around the world, cast skeletons, so the reproductions. It's when you think of T-Rex, you think of Stan. That image you get of what T-Rex face looks like, you see Stan's face.
What an incredible fossil, and what a day for the Brave Wilderness team. Pete, I cannot thank you enough for having us out today. Behind the scenes here at the Black Hills Institute, we got up close with some incredible fossils, and of course got to hold the most famous Tyrannosaur tooth in the world.
I'm still shaking, guys.
Stan's tooth. I know, there is no way that we could possibly ever thank you enough for being a part of the launch of Beyond Dinosaurs. This is just the start of the expedition, guys. We have several more episodes planned here in South Dakota, and stay tuned, because I have a feeling that this is going to be an adventure 65 million years in the making.
Getting to spend the day learning about dinosaurs from one of the greatest minds in paleontology was a perfect start to this prehistoric adventure. Going behind the scenes at the Black Hills Institute was a privilege unlike anything the crew and I had ever done before. And holding the largest tooth from the most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skull in history was an honored moment I will cherish for the rest of my life. Dinosaurs are without question the greatest creatures to have ever walked our planet. And while they may have disappeared millions of years ago, in many ways, they are still with us today. This new series will take you on an exciting journey into the modern realm of these ancient beings, as we explore the science, the theories, and the imagination that it takes to go beyond dinosaurs. Dinosaurs disappeared from the planet 65 million years ago. And when the first fossilized remains of these prehistoric creatures were discovered in the 1800s, they sparked an endless world of fascination for all of mankind. For Pete Larson, the art of digging up fossils began when he was 4 years old and transcended into what became a lifetime dedicated to unearthing these ancient behemoths. In 1974, he founded the Black Hills Institute of Geological Research, specializing in the discovery, excavation, and preservation of fossils. This has become the perfect vehicle for Pete to share his love of dinosaurs with the world. Like me, his favorite dinosaur is the iconic Tyrannosaurus Rex, and to date, he has proudly dug up more T-Rex skeletons than any one person in the world. These incredible finds include the world-famous Sue, who resides at the Chicago Field Museum, and Stan, who towers as the centerpiece of the Black Hills Museum of Natural History. Today we are teaming up with Pete to bring you the journey that most fossils travel once they have been discovered and safely extracted from the field.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to see you. Wow, this looks like a mound of white dirt.
Well, it's covered with dust, but if you look closely, right up here by where the glue bottles are, that depression is actually the orbit. There was an eyeball that was in there 66 million years ago.
Oh, so we're looking at a skull.
We're looking at a skull. This is, in fact, this is the nose. And if you look carefully, you can see that we have a beak here.
Okay.
We have a nasal horn right above the nares.
I'm following you.
There's the eye. There's a horn. We took the horn off there, and we took the horn off on the other side too. But so, what do you think of it?
I'm guessing we are looking at a Triceratops skull.
And you would be correct. So you're looking at it like this.
Okay.
That's the actual orientation. But if you turn it like this, it becomes pretty obvious. Here's the beak I was explaining. This nasal horn here tells us that it's Triceratops prorsus.
Okay. Like the quintessential classic Triceratops, correct?
Triceratops prorsus and Triceratops horridus, those are the two that we think of when we think of Triceratops, and they're only North American animals.
When you guys bring these in from the field, this plaster on the outside is called a jacket, right?
Right. It's called field jacket.
Field jacket, and all this stone, or all this rock that's around the outside of the skull is called the matrix.
Right, correct.
So when you bring it in from the field, it's wrapped in the plaster, it's still encased in the matrix, and for the most part, it looks like a giant rock until you guys begin to get in there. All right, so you do have some fossils that are more exposed at this point, projects you've been working on that we can look at, get the cameras up close and see a little bit further along the process.
So we're going to look at a skeleton now that has been partially prepared. One of the jackets has been turned over and one of them has not.
Okay.
But you can see kind of the way it was in the ground. And these are actually two skeletons that were found in a lake deposit, and they're awesome.
Okay, great. Well, let's go take a look at those.
All right.
When a fossil arrives from the field, it appears to be nothing more than matrix wrapped in a plaster jacket. Yet once it's mapped, the real excavation begins.
All right, guys, so now we're going to look at the next step. Once these fossils come into this room, cool, check this out. The matrix is much more peeled back, if you will, and the bone is starting to be exposed. What if I kind of swing around this side here?
So what we have here is preserved two very nice skeletons. One is not very complete. We have two femurs and a tibia, a couple of sternal plates from a dinosaur called Anzu wiley, just recently described about 3 years ago.
Okay.
But what we also have is another dinosaur of the same group, the group called Caenignathids or Oviraptorids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
So they're weird. They're, quote, theropods, meat-eating dinosaurs without teeth. So they're more like modern birds. This is as much like a modern bird as any of these ancient dinosaurs were, the things we normally think of as non-avian theropods.
Okay.
This is all skull right in here. This we think is a brain case, at least part of the brain case right here. This right here is a scapula, so part of the shoulder blade. This I think is a vomer, which is one of the palate bones. This is the back of the lower jaws very clearly. And there's probably a bunch more skull bones underneath all of this.
This is pretty well exposed at this point, obviously pretty far away from presentation, but what are some of the tools that you use to get in here, to get these bones out of the rock? Because eventually all this bone comes out of there.
So here, because these are really fragile bones and stuff, so I'll want to use, basically something that enhances my vision. But if I put this on, I can see really closely what's going on. And these little picks here, you'll see they actually have two different tips. There's one very pointed, and this one is kind of like a screwdriver that's been rounded. So we don't actually poke the bone, we actually pull the matrix from the bone. So if I'm gonna clean bone here, I'll actually work very carefully here.
Wow.
And this is really the only way to clean a skull like this. See, there's a lot of glue on here, and a lot of polyvinyl acetate, which helps protect the bone and keep it together. And I got to work through that glue. You'll notice we wrote numbers on the bones because as we're doing this, we also map them like we did that Triceratops. And so when we take these off, we'll still have a record of where they were. And that's really super important in trying to understand the series of events that led this to be preserved in this manner.
What I've learned, Pete, is that paleontology truly is a profession of patience. Not only to find the specimens in the field, but when you look at something like this, how many man-hours have gone into peeling back the matrix to reveal even where you're at right now?
So there's actually a couple of 100 hours, 200 or 300 hours in it so far, not counting collecting. But it's going to have, probably well over 1,000 hours yet, and just in this block. There's another block of the dinosaur that you can look at as well. But before you shift your attention to that, I want you to look very closely right here.
It looks like a dark mass in the rock. Is that maybe skin?
Well, you're very close.
Okay.
This looks to be a rachis, and another rachis here, and another rachis here.
As in pieces of feathers.
Yes, as in feathers.
Wow, okay, so that has to be incredibly important then, finding what may be evidence of feathers on this raptor.
It's one of the very few examples of dinosaur feathers from North America.
Now, this is cool to see this level of exposure, but can we head down into the catacombs of the Black Hills Institute and see some of these fossils that you have fully pulled from the matrix?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No
Okay.
problem. We can go back into the belly of the beast.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys, the next step in the journey of a fossil is once it is removed from the matrix, it gets ready for its ultimate presentation state, and we're gonna get you guys up close with those fossils in just a minute.
Like Pete said, it can literally take hundreds of man-hours to fully extract bones from their entrapped state in the matrix. And while we would have loved to help bring this raptor skeleton to presentation status, we decided it would be more fun to see some of the already processed specimens. So with Pete leading the way, we followed along into the Black Hills off-display archive of fossils.
This is one of the more common fossils, in fact, the most common mammal that we'll see out there. And that's these guys. So they're, and this, there's, you know, virtually no restoration, all these teeth are original and stuff, so you can get some really beautiful, beautiful skulls.
And this is an Oreodont?
It's an Oreodont. They're a distant relative of the camel. There's really nothing like them living today. That whole family has been extinct.
Yeah, interesting.
So kind
and
of
this just,
weird,
you
very
found this
strange
like
group.
this with the mouth open.
Right, and just kind of cleaned away the stuff that was covering the bone, but left the matrix in the skull to hold everything together and keep it in its natural state.
That's cool.
And that is a 35 million-year-old preserved scream.
That's, yeah. More Oreos! Very cool.
One of the more common things, you'll find Oreodonts like you just saw.
Yeah.
But one of the more common things we'll find will be turtles.
Yes!
He said the T word.
My favorite!
So here we have some reptiles, and you'll be surprised how nice some of these are.
Yeah, these are perfectly preserved. Look at that.
And sometimes with the turtles you can find their skulls even.
Whoa!
Sometimes just coming out of the little skull too. We found a number of them from there. So that's that's from a turtle that's about this big. So it's about a 24-inch turtle.
That's incredible.
It's true.
Very cool.
So when you take them out of blocks, or perhaps you're collecting like little pieces of bone, like so this was exposed like this. You could see this when it was found.
Yeah.
And there were lots of little pieces that we picked up on the ground, and we dug this out in a block and then cleaned it, and look what it turns out to be. So it's a little saber-toothed cat.
That's right. You guys can see on the shelves here it says cats.
And so this is the back of the skull, part of the back of the skull. And unfortunately, it's not complete, but it's still cool because it's got a really, really nice saber.
That's amazing. So as compared to the matrix upstairs, these things are getting closer to being presentation ready, where now you're really into the fine details of removing that last bit of matrix.
Right. In fact, here's a nice cat skeleton that you can see up here, and they're bones are clean, being put together.
Oh yeah, it's the shoulder blade, right?
Shoulder blade, right. And here's the other one, which is much more complete, but still missing a little bit.
That's a foot.
That's a foot. Yep. In fact, a wrist or a hand.
Now, here's something important to note, guys. Upstairs, we were looking at dinosaur fossils. These are cats. This is the age of mammals. This is well beyond the time of the dinosaurs. Why are we looking at cat fossils as compared to dinosaur fossils right now?
Well, because tomorrow we're going to go on a little expedition, and if you find me a cat skeleton, you'll be my best friend.
Oh, you hear that? Maybe we can trade that for a T-Rex tooth?
No.
You see what I did there, though? Man, if he was like, we'll see, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna find the biggest cat skeleton ever. Well, this is really exciting, guys, because I know you've been waiting for us to get out there in the field to search for some fossils ourselves. And tomorrow, we're gonna head out into the wild to a spot that you picked out that you think is perfect for us to find some fossils like this.
And if you do find a cat skeleton, I will give you a cast of Stan's best tooth.
Hey, there you go. I will take that. All right, stay tuned, guys. Our epic dinosaur adventure continues on the next episode.
Paleontology is an art form unlike any other, and the patience it requires to not only find, but also release these fossils from the hold of time is truly something to admire. For someone like Pete, who has dedicated his life to unearthing dinosaurs, nothing is more enjoyable than teaching and sharing with the world this fascinating process. I have always loved prehistoric creatures, and as the crew and I left the Black Hills Institute for the day, our inner childlike spirits were filled with excitement because we were just a night's rest away from going on our very first fossil dig. Stay tuned for an epic adventure as we follow Pete Larson into the Badlands to search for the remains of ancient animals. From a bird's eye perspective, the seemingly barren landscape that visually defines the Badlands is in reality a rich deposit of prehistoric treasure. The Badlands are characterized by their steep slopes made of soft sedimentary rock and clay-rich soil that has been eroded over millions of years by the powers of wind and water. In short, a location such as the one we are exploring today is perfect for finding fossils. Leading this expedition is Pete Larson, a world-renowned paleontologist. Also along for the journey is his field specialist, Reese Hozak. They are taking the crew and I to a top-secret dig location where they have been finding and excavating fossils from the Paleogene period, which dates back between 25 and 60 million years ago. Sounds ancient, yet this period is not old enough for us to be finding the fossils of dinosaurs. So while we won't be digging up a T-Rex quite yet, keyword yet, we do stand the chance of happening upon ancient mammals and prehistoric reptiles.
All right, guys, thus far we have gone on an incredible journey, and this is the point where we leave the vehicle behind. Now, it appears as if we may have landed on the moon, or in this case, traveled back in time 35 million years. Pete, tell us about this location.
So we are halfway between the time of T-Rex and us.
Okay.
And here is where we first see really the mammals where you can really identify them. You can say, this is a horse, this is a camel, this is a saber-toothed cat, this is a giant pig, this is a turtle, this is a fossil snake. All of those have been found here. So we're gonna find some really cool stuff today.
Nice. Now, I am a self-proclaimed bonehound, and this is true Badlands, which means there's lots of skeletons out here. Whether it's skulls or bones, I'm always posting them online. And if you were to say to me, Coyote, I need you to find this epic artifact today, what would you have me go out there and search for?
Well, you really would be great if you could find us a saber-toothed cat.
Saber-toothed cat. Pete, I think I can find a saber-toothed cat today. Mark, what do you think?
You know, I think we should give it a shot.
Okay, cool. Mar, are you excited to head out there?
Definitely very excited.
Ready to go?
Okay, I'm ready to go. Well, if you guys are all ready, Pete, you lead the way, and let's head out into the Badlands and see what types of fossils we can find.
All right, let's go.
Here we go.
The daytime temperatures of the Badlands were unlike anything we had faced before. Climbing well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the dryness in the air alone makes it feel as if you were being roasted in an oven. Slowly we traipsed through the parched landscape, and with diligently focused eyes, we scanned our surroundings, hoping to catch the off-white gleam of anything that stood out against the crumbling slopes. Fossilized bone that is exposed from the substrate is much easier to detect than one would think. And if you know where to look, it's only a matter of time before you happen upon the remains of an ancient creature.
Oh, he does. He does.
It's a raptor foot, Pete. Is this a new species?
I believe it's a described species. That's pretty cool.
Here's a tooth.
So that's a little antelope, Leptomyrix evansii.
Okay.
A little American antelope, which is not an
Hold
antelope.
this. Hold this. Now, just so we're clear, guys, I did not find a new species of raptor, but this is cool, Pete. I think we should look at this. Right here, you've got, you may have to film it from this side, guys. This is the foot of a bird.
It is, absolutely.
Right, so but this is modern day, but this is how a fossil could ultimately form. You've got the skeleton that's come down this slope.
It's probably a songbird. I'm gonna guess meadowlark.
That
That size.
is not a velociraptor foot or, you know, any of the raptors from prehistoric times, but that's a good find. Like for me, that's a good find, guys.
So that's an avian dinosaur, technically.
This is
It
a
is,
modern day
absolutely,
dinosaur
absolutely.
bone, for sure. That is cool. I should probably leave this so it can turn into a fossil, right?
Yes, you should leave it so it can turn into a fossil.
It's no joke when I say that I'm good at finding bones. In fact, at almost every location we visit, my favorite thing to do when we are not filming is to search for natural artifacts like skulls.
Got it. Okay.
So while the discovery of my modern-day dinosaur skeleton was cool, it certainly wasn't prehistoric. Pete enjoyed the humor and reassured us that this location was rich with fossils. And sure enough, with just a few steps further, we spotted our first major find.
All right, so we walked a few feet and Pete said, okay, stop, I see something. So we popped the cameras back on. Pete, what do you got?
Well, if you look over in this area, can you spot a turtle? This is called turtle spot. It's only about 50 feet away.
I'm good at finding turtles, guys. Hold on, give me a second. See something up there.
Are you good?
Right there, that white spot?
That's it.
Is that the top of a carapace?
That's the top
Oh, I see it.
carapace.
Yeah, zoom in on that. That's a turtle.
Nice.
Now, I'm not gonna have to catch that one. It's not going anywhere fast, but...
It's like train spotting, but it doesn't move as fast as trains.
Okay, well, let's walk up and take a look at it. All right, what you guys are looking at right there is the carapace of a turtle. And Pete, you tell me this is a good one.
Oh, it's a good turtle, and it's just small enough where I can get it just barely into the backpack. So
Is it okay to touch it?
Yeah, you should be able to touch it. Shouldn't be any problem. There's a few loose pieces here, but everything looks pretty sound. We'll kind of get some glue on it before we start, but this we'll be able to get this out of the ground pretty quickly here.
Sweet. All right, guys, we are gonna excavate a turtle.
We were ecstatic to have found a fossilized turtle, and under Pete's guidance, we carefully began to excavate the specimen.
You know, just my luck that we would have found a turtle as the first fossil. I am so excited right now.
At first, we chipped away at the crumbling rock, gently removing the dust and fragments. This process allowed us to slowly reveal more and more of the ancient reptile. Only the further we exposed the animal, the more we began to realize that this turtle was much bigger than we had originally thought.
All right, guys, well, it's taken us a little over an hour, but we have exhumed this tortoise much bigger than we thought. So what Pete wants to do now is actually protect it with a plaster jacket. We're not gonna actually take this tortoise out of here today, but it will be preserved for you to come back at a later point and pick it up, right?
Right, we'll drive up here after the mud dries up a little bit and roll it into the back of the vehicle.
Cool, now how much would you say this fossil weighs?
Oh, this is gonna be in excess of 100 pounds.
Yep, don't wanna put that in your backpack. All right, guys, let's keep searching for that cat skull.
We moved no more than 100 yards further up into the valley when we found yet another turtle.
Check this out, guys. We got another turtle, and this one is small. Look at this. That's a plastron that you're looking at right there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Pete, this is one that we can take back to the lab, right?
Yeah, this one will go real fast. We can probably prep this while you guys are here tomorrow.
Sweet. All right, guys, well, this is exciting. Now, the other turtle was way too big to take back with us, but as you can see, this will fit in Pete's backpack, so we're gonna quickly unearth it, protect it, and then keep searching.
So I got it loose on the bottom.
Yep.
And we're gonna get my hand underneath here. I'm gonna pop, get this front piece too. All right.
Whoa.
So
It's
look
in
at how
there.
it's right there. See that?
Yeah.
It's right there. The front end is really nice. This guy's gonna prepare very easily. I'm just gonna take away, leave that there. I'm gonna take away this.
That's all extra matrix, right?
Extra matrix.
Oh, look at that, popped right off of the shell.
You want to see my impression of a turtle?
With the turtle shell safely pried up from the Earth's baked crust, we gently wrap the fossil in foil and place the ancient treasure into Pete's backpack. And now with some fossil hunting knowledge under our belts, we have been turned loose to search for artifacts on our own.
Rolling?
Rolling.
Rolling?
Action, yeah.
Rolling? I'm rolling too.
Man, it's hot.
It is super hot. We have made some incredible finds thus far. Turtles and a whole bunch of little bones and teeth. Now, Pete has showed us the process that we need to go through to search for these fossils. And at this point, he has turned us loose and sent us on the mission of finding a saber-toothed cat skull. It could happen, guys. They do find them out here. Now, what I'm gonna do is give you a GoPro, Mark.
Okay.
There you go.
Got my
And I'm
GoPro.
also gonna give one to you, Mario.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
And then I've got one right here filming me. Now, We're gonna break down the main cameras and use the GoPros to film ourselves walking around searching for fossils. Now, if you find something epic, call it out. May the man with the best fossil win. Good luck, guys. Let's see what we can find.
All right, Mario, ready?
All right,
Let's do this.
which way do we go?
Any way you want.
All right, I go this way.
All right, guys, they have turned the bonehound loose into the Badlands. And what is this here? That is just a rock.
Ooh. Look at this. That's pretty cool. That's one I'm gonna keep for sure. Piece of a turtle shell right there. Just a fragment that's come down the wash, so it's tricky. This is a lot of times a good place to find fragments of fossils, but if you want to find something whole, you really need to look on the edges for something that just was exposed by the recent rains that came through the area. And that's what I think I'm gonna find if I keep going this way.
Check that out. A little femur bone, I'm suspecting. That's cool, actually. There's the top of it. Those are worth holding on to right there. All right, we're gonna cut down through this valley and see what we can find.
Tell you what, it's hot out here. And finding fossils is not easy, that's for sure. Your eyes have to be trained to catch any different texture in the soil or coloration.
Look at this. This is a huge tortoise. There's a big piece of carapace right there. Wow. You can see where all the bones have just crumbled down the hillside. Now that's considered an X-turtle, as Pete calls them. Nothing to be collected there, but for me, still a cool find. All right, I'm almost to the top of this ridge, and that's where we're gonna find something cool.
Now look at this. This is a tiny, tiny rodent jaw. It's amazing because you would think, how are you gonna find such a tiny object? But it actually stands out quite well in this type of substrate.
Over on that far ridge, about there, there's something very white in coloration sticking out of the substrate. Could just be another piece of a turtle shell. It's big enough to be a skull. All right, I'm going for it. I'm gonna have to slide down through this canyon to get there. And we're just gonna go for a basic skeet slide here. Here we go. Now I gotta get up the other side. A lot easier said than done. Oh my goodness.
Guys, is that a saber from a cat?
Check this out. That is a jawbone. Yes! Wow, that is an amazing find. A legit jawbone right there. Okay, let me look around, see if there's anything more of it. Yes!
Get out of here. That is awesome. Man, I wonder if there's any more of it.
Oh, this is exciting. Very gently. Yes. Ooh, almost lost it there. Wow. Stay there, knife. That is the find of the day for me right there. The jawbone of, it could be a cat. Those look like cat teeth. All right, I gotta investigate this area a little bit more and see what else I can find. Yes, yes, that is a huge find for me. Man, the skull hound delivers.
Oh. Cool. So, found this fossil here.
looks pretty big. It's dense. This is the biggest fossil I've found so far. Everything so far I've been finding have been tiny, like mandibles. But this appears to be maybe some type of leg bone or arm bone. I'm not sure. But anyways, I'm gonna put this in the pack and go see what else I can find.
I have investigated the area pretty well, and I don't see any more fragments of the skull. I'm checking down in this canyon now with the hopes that maybe something washed all the way through. But, oh, more teeth, right here. Look at this. This is a different animal, but that's another jaw right there. All right, I think I'm, more jaw. Hold on a second, what's this? This might be the back of a skull. It is. It's the top of the skull. I found a skull. Hold on a second. Yes. Man, striking again. Okay, I've got small jaw fragments right here and what appears to be a cranium, without question. Look at that. You can see where the brainstem connected. It's all broken apart, but that is a skull. All right, guys, well, I got a pocket full of good stuff. I think it's time to head back and meet up with the team. All right, guys, well, we are back from the adventure. It was hot, it was dry, it was dusty, but we all made it, and it certainly was epic. Now, we found lots of incredible specimens. Look at all these fossils. On the end, we have Marios. In the middle, we have Marks. And right here, we have Coyotes. Now, we have placed our prized fossils out here on these pieces of wood, but we've saved our best pieces for last. And at the end, we're each gonna reveal our most, you know, sort of celebrated relic.
Kind of like our grand finale.
Yeah, the grand finale. So what I want to do now is first we're going to go through Mario's stuff, then Mark's, then mine. And Pete, if you would be so kind as to help us identify some of these fossils, sure, that will help everybody out there watching know exactly what it is we found.
All right, so
Sound
Mario,
good?
you're up.
Okay.
All right, buddy, what did you find? Man, looks good.
All right, so I do know what this one is.
Yep.
A tortoise.
Turtle. Yep. Very
Turtle.
good.
Okay. And then I kind of get lost over here with maybe some type of mammal.
So this actually is also turtle.
Okay.
So that's a turtle tibia, the distal end of a turtle tibia.
Gotcha.
Another piece of turtle here. This is a pelvis, part of a pelvis. You can see right where the femur would go, right in there. Anybody needs a hip replacement, contact Mario.
Okay.
And then we've got Leptomeryx. Leptomeryx is a relative of the Antilocaprid, the modern day pronghorn.
Ooh.
This is actually a little Paleolagus, a little rabbit jaw.
Cool.
And this is a mouse, a guy called Yumies, or as they said in the Oligocene, Yummies.
All right, Mike, you want me to take over on that camera?
Yeah, here, you want to take this one?
Sure, I'm gonna cut the GoPro here.
All right.
And we'll take this. Still rolling?
Yeah, I'm rolling.
Okay, and get the earbuds. Oh yeah, all right, Coyote's got the big camera.
Man, you got a lot, Coyote.
I did.
You got a lot of fossils. I had to work hard for my stash, but I'm feeling like my grand finale is going to be worth the wait. But just before then, let's go through these. I know what this is. That's a turtle. I thought that was pretty cool. This is this looks like a piece of a carapace.
Yep, part of a turtle as well.
Yep. This I have no idea. Pete, you're going to have to help me out on that
That's
one.
a humerus. That's an Oreodot humerus, probably from the bigger Oreodot Maricretodon Culbertsoni.
Okay. This is a shard of a bone, but it was larger, so I picked it up.
So a little bit harder to identify. Possibly, it looks like probably a long bone, probably a part of a femur from something big like one of the rhinos.
Ooh, rhino bone.
Yeah,
I'll take that. And then I have a whole smorgasbord of different looking teeth here, and I'm not sure if they're all the same species.
So you have uppers and lowers from this guy called Leptomeryx evansi, and then this little guy here is a little tiny antelope called Antilocaprid called Hippicidus. So this is a pretty rare little guy here.
Oh, cool.
I think we found only one skull here the whole time we've dug here.
All right, Coyote.
All right, I filled almost an entire 2x4 with fossils. Now, like I said, I am the bone hound, the skull hound, and I actually found a crushed skull out there. Now, Pete, I don't know what species this is, but it is definitely a cranium, and you can see where the back of the skull would have connected to the vertebrae there.
Yep, so that's a brain case basically.
Yep.
So judging from this, and also the teeth all match Leptomeryx, so Leptomeryx evansi.
Okay.
The Antilocaprid, and both maxilla, and there's looks like some of the mandible too there. So that's very cool. All the same beast.
That was one of my coolest finds. Then I found even bigger jaw pieces. Now I got really excited because I thought that I had found the cat skull. I just saw these 2 pieces sticking up from the dirt, and I saw these big sharp tips dug down, but these were the only pieces that I managed to unearth. Now, what are those, Pete?
So, and these are actually 2 different individuals. You can see they're both the left maxilla.
Oh, wow.
Of the Oreodont, probably Maracoidodon helprani.
Okay.
So sort of the middle-sized Oreodont. But you can see they're exactly the same.
Really? Because I found those like both right next to each other.
Isn't that interesting? How
Wow.
you'd think they'd be the same, but it can't because it's repeat.
Yeah.
They're both left maxilla.
Very cool. This guy had 2 left feet, as they say.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a couple of other teeth and jaw pieces here, but then check this out. This is some sort of a femur bone or tibia.
It's distal femur.
Okay.
It's just missing this condyle here. Probably goes back together. Maybe missing a piece in between. But yeah, so femur, probably Oreodont again.
Of course, a neat little piece of turtle carapace.
Yep.
I found this then bigger bone. Again, maybe a...
So this is actually humerus from a turtle.
Oh, from a turtle?
Yeah.
Turtle
Okay.
bone.
Yeah.
Neat, big turtle bone. All right, guys, well, it's about time to reveal our final prized fossils. Should we start with Mario?
Yeah, I'd say we go back down the line. Mario,
Okay.
why don't you hand your camera to Coyote?
There you go.
Coyote,
it's
why don't you get
recording.
the tight
Got it.
shot?
Yep.
I heard you might need 2 hands for this fossil.
Well, I saw this, and it's definitely the largest fossil that I encountered. And
It just made a thump, everybody.
yeah, and so it's definitely dense in weight, and I'm thinking it's some type of leg bone.
Whoa!
So I found it. There's kind of top part of it. I'm gonna see if I could get it back in place there. There you go. So that's how I found it, just on the ground, and it's pretty big. So
That's a big
Tyrannosaur?
No, it is mammal, and it's one of the biggest mammals that we have out here. This is a rhino tibia, distal tibia.
A rhinoceros?
Yep, and you could tell by the shape of where the astragalus would go what it is.
Whoa.
And so this is one of the very biggest animals that was out here. This and the giant pig. So it's an animal called Subharachodons, Subharachodon occidentalis.
Subharachodon. Subharachodon, a big prehistoric rhino. All right.
All right, Mario, you may win big fossil of the day. Big bone of the day goes to Mario.
All right. Who's next?
All right, I guess that would be me.
What's up?
All right, guys. Now, this is one of those situations where I think I found something pretty cool, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to be a little reserved in my reveal. But if it is what I think it is, it might be the fossil of the day. All right, you ready?
Ooh.
So,
You got me curious
I
here.
think
Whoa!
I may have found the saber to a cat.
You did. That is.
Yes! Yes!
That's a saber from a dinectus, the base of the saber. So this is all root here, and there's some breaks. Unfortunately, it's not complete, which would be really awesome. And where's the skull that this should be in?
I know, it was the only piece I could find, but I do know where I found it, so I will let you guys know so we can mark it down.
Yeah, we'll go back and check it out. But oh, that's awesome. So far, you're the only one with a cat today.
Yes.
So it's not a whole skull, but it's the best we got so far. That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw the bend in it, and I was like, that feels like it could be a saber. So
Hold it real still
Awesome
for me.
ID.
saber. It's a saber. That's what I got, guys. Coyote, it's your turn. What do you got, Coyote?
So Coyote's supposed to have a complete saber-tooth cat skull in his pocket.
What?
That's what I'm expecting here.
Well, guys, I did not come back with the saber-toothed cat skull. I saw one out there, but it wasn't pristine condition, so I just kind of left it.
You just left it?
I just left it. I didn't think anybody wanted to see
Would
it.
it have a broken saber or something?
Nah, it had a bunch of dust on it. It just looked really aged. No saber-toothed cats, but
You got something for us.
I got something cool. Check out that jaw piece.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a nice jaw.
Now, this has a cool story to it as well, because I did spot it from a distance. I had to scale down into a valley and mountain goat climb up to get to this and filmed it all the while on the GoPro. And sure enough, as I got close, I got so excited. I said, it's a jawbone, oh my gosh. And then as soon as I grabbed it, I was like, the skull's gotta be here somewhere. Did not find the skull, but for me, that is a pretty good find. Now, Pete, what species is this?
So that's Maracoidodon culbertsoni. It's the Oreodont. It's the biggest of the Oreodonts that were down here in the lower Oligocene.
Very cool.
And there's something cool you may not have noticed. See that little hole there?
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be there.
Really?
So it was fed on, possibly by a hyenodon, because the hole's round, not like a cat would be sort of. So that's a poke hole from a tooth.
Okay, so something might have bit or chewed on this jaw.
Yeah.
Well, that could possibly explain why it's all broken apart, and this is the only piece I found. But pretty proud of this fossil.
Very nice jaw.
I'm gonna place it down there. Wow.
Here, let's take a step back in the shadow. Let's have a look at the final.
That is cool. What a layout of incredible prehistoric prizes right there. Now we have Mario with the rhino bone, of course Mark with the cat saber, and then there's me with the Oreodont jaw. Write in the comments section below and tell us which one of these finds was your favorite. Now every one of these specimens is going to be taken back to the Black Hills Institute where it will be used for research purposes. And while we didn't find the saber-toothed cat skull today, that just means we'll need to return to the Badlands to find some more fossils. Pete, thank you so much for having us out today. We could not have done it without you.
Of the countless expeditions the crew and I have embarked upon, searching for fossils in the Badlands alongside Pete Larson is by far one of our most memorable. No, we didn't find the coveted saber-toothed cat skull we were all hoping for, but that simply means we will need to one day return to this fossil-rich location. The art of paleontology requires an incredible amount of patience, and while the conditions are often harsh, with a strong will of persistence, you are almost certain to find prehistoric treasure. Stay tuned as we return to the Black Hills Institute, where Pete teaches us how to take a fossil from the field and perfect it into presentation status. The crew and I spent an entire day working alongside world-renowned paleontologist Pete Larson, where we explored a vast stretch of remote Badlands. This unforgiving terrain was the perfect place to find fossils that dated back more than 25 million years.
Oh my goodness.
Collectively, we found a handful of mammal bones and skull fragments, but the prize specimen of the day was a small turtle shell that we safely extracted from the parched earth. Pete felt this was the perfect fossil to bring back from the field and into the lab for presentation preparation. So today we are returning to the Black Hills Institute, where we are going to learn how to properly clean up our prehistoric treasure.
All right, guys, we are back from the field with our turtle. Now, what we want to do today is show you guys how these fossils get prepared for museum presentation. And the first thing we need to do is unwrap our turtle to make sure that it made it back here to the lab in one piece. Now, Pete's going to walk us through that process, and at the end, you're going to see a perfectly preserved, presentable turtle shell.
Okay, so as you remember, there's actually one major piece and then some smaller pieces. This is the label. We need to save this label because that's part of the history of the specimen.
Okay.
That tells us where it was found and the day and all that. Okay, so here are the pieces.
Okay.
And here's the main mass.
So guys, this is carapace and plastron together here.
Right, and it's got, again, because part of it was weathered out, there are little pieces that have fallen down the bay, but you may recognize this now.
Yep.
So this is the way it was found.
Yep.
There were little lumps of dirt on here. And this is the butt end of the turtle. This is a turtle butt. And this is where the front end would be. You can see that the top of the carapace is just beautiful here with the marginals all intact. It's nicely inflated. It's a really, really nice specimen. And most of the pieces, I know we found one piece for the front of the plastron here.
Should I open this up?
Yeah, we can open that up.
Great. So all these little tiny chips in here could have bone in them.
Could have bone, and that one certainly does. That's in fact the very, very middle one. So this one for sure.
Okay.
And we'll kind of set, I'm gonna make two little piles, one that for sure is bone, and one that may be bone. This is actually part of the front of that one I remember.
Okay. And
then this probably is not, because you see this whole top surface of the turtle looks like it's all here.
Right.
This is a turtle rib, and the ribs are all here, so there was, kind of spare change, but that's definitely from this turtle. And there may be some more pieces of the turtle there, and there's a little bit of few crumbs in here we'll go through. We'll usually use a screen and wash those.
Okay.
But for the time being, we're gonna go for the gusto here. We're gonna take this nice turtle, and we're gonna do a little cleaning. So there's a little bit of glue there, otherwise there's really not much for glue on that guy.
Wow, so you're telling me that this is going to clean up and really look like a turtle shell in
It's
the
going
end.
to look like a turtle shell. And what we use here is the paleontologist's magic wand. And when you see it, you're going to say, Merlin's beard, that's awesome.
Okay. Well, this is pretty awesome, just like this, to see the carapace and the plastron safely back here in the lab. And the next step is to start cleaning it.
Is start cleaning it. What we're going to do is we're going to use this really cool machine over here.
Okay, come on over, guys.
What we basically are going to do is we're going to throw fine particles of dust at this turtle.
Okay.
At high speeds, at high pressure. We're using upwards of 200 psi. We will probably only use about 80 psi, pounds per square inch.
Okay.
So fairly high pressure. And I'll do a little test, and then we'll let you do much of the cleaning. And believe it or not, this is going to go really fast because this is, again, this is the magic wand of paleontology.
All right.
So here's the noisy part. Maybe not too bad.
It's not horrible.
Okay,
Could be worse.
Maybe live through that.
We'll talk loud.
Then I'm going to turn this guy on. I turn the pressure way down to 30 psi.
Okay.
Just I don't want to hurt this little guy. So sodium bicarbonate has a hardness of about 2. Bone has a hardness of 3.5. That's on a scale of 1 to 10, with talcum powder being the softest, number 1, and diamond being the hardest, number 10. So you never want to use something that's harder than the bone in this machine. So I'm going to go from a long ways away first, and you'll see something real magical real quick.
Whoa.
Check that out.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
So I'm just going to clean a little spot, and you can kind of use an intermittent, there's a little foot pedal down here I'm using on my foot to turn it on.
Almost like a sewing machine?
Yeah, like a sewing machine. Okay, there you go.
That's cool.
So this will be,
Alright.
Is this your first fossil preparation?
This is my first fossil preparation, and it's perfectly fitting that it just also happens to be a turtle. All right, Pete, so my hands are going into the machine.
Okay.
I'm gonna gently pick up the turtle here. All right, then I just put my foot on this little pedal down here.
And it should blast out some powder.
Okay.
Let's see what you got.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Is
Wow.
that awesome?
Merlin's beard, that's amazing. Wow, it just blasts all that matrix right off of there. Wow. It's very satisfying to see the ribs of the turtle's carapace just appearing out from beneath the matrix. Look at that, and I've got that whole section already cleared. Now, this is the same process that they use on even dinosaur fossils, to blast away little bits of rock.
Now, while Coyote's doing this, what are some of the things we're looking out for, Pete?
So we're watching for fractures. So there's a little bit of fracturing showing up, but I don't think there's anything serious. And then all that little white stuff will come off. And you can really, I can probably turn you up. I'm going to turn you up just a tiny bit. Let's start at a lower pressure and work our way up.
Big chunk here. Woo, that's cool. Unbelievably satisfying. Now, it does take patience, just like when you're digging it out from the earth. But look at how you can see that turtle shell being revealed.
And the plastron will clean very fast.
Okay, let's take a look at
Because it's
blasting off
there's
some of the
almost no
plastron.
matrix. Yeah, watch how fast you can do this one.
All right, here we go, guys. We're about to reveal the plastron.
Whoa, I can see rocks flying.
Yeah, that's the little chunks of mud that were stuck to the bottom.
Got little chips of matrix just flying off left and right here. Plastron is coming into view. Woo, that's cool. Wow, you can almost see some of the coloration in the bone. Look, you can see the yellowish color. That is pretty. All right, I'm gonna flip it back over to the carapace. Let's see if we can get off all of this extra debris.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. It's like working with a really fine point spray paint can. I'm just really working to get all of this fine matrix out from within the turtle's ribs here. That is looking good. All right, guys. I think that's about as far as we're gonna take this turtle. The timer has gone off.
Oh yeah.
That turtle is cooked. Or I should say cleaned off. Now what started as something that looked like a baked potato has now completely been cleaned up and is nearly ready for museum presentation. How cool is that?
That is really awesome. I can't believe the detail that's come out.
All right, let's bring it back over here to the table and let Pete take a final look. All right, guys, well, here we have it. A perfectly cleaned turtle fossil. There's the carapace, there's the plastron, and Pete, how would you say I did?
I think you did an awesome job. I mean, especially a first-time preparation. I'd say you get an A+ for the day.
Yes, I have passed. Now, we know there are a couple pieces missing, a couple that we found in the field. First off is the bottom of the plastron here.
Yeah,
so this will need to be
piece,
reattached.
It'll go right there.
Okay.
And then we have a bit of the turtle butt right here, which is very important to turtles as well as people. And there, it goes right there. That's a marginal. And this marginal will go right here.
Nice.
And the other piece we know that we found doesn't fit because it would go in here and it's too big, too thick.
Well, it's always important to pick up all the pieces that you find in the field just in case. So this is, I'd say, about 90% complete. Now, it's cleaned most of the way. There'll still be a little bit of touch-up that is done, but that is almost museum presentation ready. Now, I have graduated from turtles, which means maybe we move on to the T-Rex?
All you need to do is find us one and you can help clean it.
All right, guys, well, that sounds like another adventure to be had. Well, Pete, thank you so much for showing us today how to clean fossils.
I think we have all stood in a museum, looking up with wonder at the skeleton of a dinosaur. There is no questioning the fact that these ancient creatures are impressive. Yet what you may not realize is that the process of bringing them back to life is a wonder unto its own. Through the process of finding, extracting, and preparing something as simple as a turtle shell, I hope that we have all found a new sense of appreciation for the tireless work paleontologists like Pete put into their craft. I can only imagine how exciting the moment would be if you found a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton, to be a part of the team that safely exhumed it from the earth, and to witness its preparation and ultimate presentation to the world. My first turtle fossil was certainly a great place to start, so here's to big dreams and even bigger dinosaurs. It's no government secret that Coyote Peterson loves dinosaurs, and I've been very vocal in my self-proclaimed expertise at finding fossils. But make no mistake, I am not a paleontologist. And for someone that suffers from chronic bouts of fossil fatigue, I would label myself an amateur at best. And that is why I team up with the experts. On today's prehistoric treasure hunt, Mario and I will be working alongside Paleo Chris and Fossil Rick. These paleontological bloodhounds have a nose for finding prehistoric treasure, and they are taking us to one of their top secret locations nestled deep in the backcountry of northern Florida. As we venture upriver, it feels as if we are traveling back in time to the Pleistocene epoch. This epoch lasted from about 2.5 million to 12,000 years ago. It was home to some serious megafauna, like mammoths, dire wolves, and my personal favorite, Siberian saber-toothed snowcats. Meow.
Chris, this looks like a spot where we may need to stop and get out to pull the canoe.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so here's what we're looking at. Good current coming right down through these prehistoric looking trees. I can just imagine what it would be like to see a prehistoric saber-toothed cat moving across these logs. We're a little bit late on that, but it doesn't mean we can't find some of those fossilized remains.
After nearly 2 hours of paddling up the river, we finally arrived at the location Chris wanted us to explore. It's going to be a long day of wading in the river with shovels and sifters.
All right, guys, this is it. We have made it to the top secret spot, and this is where we will be searching for prehistoric treasure. Now, I think to make this more interesting for the audience, we're gonna keep this a friendly competition. Team Paleo versus Team Fossil.
Okay. Now, how are we rating the point system?
So I say we break it down into 3 categories: number of species, biggest fossil, and most unique fossil.
Okay.
So if you guys are ready, I think everybody out there watching is ready for us to find some prehistoric treasure. May the best team win.
They don't call this guy Fossil Rick for nothing.
Yeah, well, I've got Paleo Chris.
All right, so the technique's pretty simple. It's just a shovel, but it's a little bit of work to get the hole going. You want to kind of get it down in there. And the hardest part is breaking that initial seal.
Okay.
But once you get that original hole going, you can start working at the same time.
All right, so it's gonna take some muscle, you're saying.
This is not easy.
All right, let's take a look at what we got here. Oh, I think we got some stuff here.
See? We got a tooth.
Is it a Smilodon?
No, but it's really cool. So that's a shark's tooth.
What species you think?
I'd say like probably bull.
Ooh.
Oh, sweet. Look at that.
It's a soft-shelled turtle. What's this right here? It's a fragment of a horse tooth.
Okay.
Little tiny fragment.
Wow.
Look right here.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the tip of a big shark tooth right
Wow.
there. That's actually a great white shark tooth.
We got a tip of a great white shark tooth, guys. Look at that. Tip of a great white shark tooth. So guys, all these fossils go into these unique little bags. Go ahead and open that up. Shark tooth going in. Piece of a turtle shell. Piece of a horse tooth. Man, just a couple scoops and we're already having some good luck.
There it is. Perfect.
So what are we looking for in terms of maybe texture, color?
Anything that kind of pops at you. Teeth, normally the enamel is shiny. There's a bone.
That's a bone.
It's just a lot of bone is going to
This
be...
looks like bone.
Yep. That's
So-
turtle shell.
Turtle shell. This is bone too.
Yep, that's bone. Turtle shell
Okay.
as well. That's 2 pieces of turtle shell.
Turtles.
Nope, missed. That was a big miss right there.
You know, I'm kind of hooked already. Like all I want to do is get the next scoop in here because
One more scoop.
you just never know.
Oh, that's good, right? The darker the rock, the better, right?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna stick in that spot. Okay. Oh, I got a lot of sand there. All right, let's sift this out and see what we got.
Check it out.
Wow.
It's another juvenile great white shark tooth. Sharp serration still. All right, and I think right over there, that is a tiny fragment of a mammoth tooth right there. You can see the enamel line right there.
Wow.
So they grow in these big plates like this, and these little individual plates flake off as the tooth falls apart. So that's what that is, just a tiny little piece. There we go, that's another good scoop. I think we got into a spot with like some shells.
Okay, yeah, I do see
Like-
some shells.
These shells are actually fossils.
Okay, so these are fossils.
Yep.
It counts. That's a species.
What's this? Really smooth. Oh my gosh, Mario, you've done it, man.
What? Is that something?
You have done it, dude.
What is it?
That's a sloth tooth.
The tooth of a sloth?
A giant sloth.
What?
It's smaller, like it might be juvenile, but that's rare. They have really weird teeth as far as animals go. Like you could see, that is the chewing surface.
Oh man.
And it would have stuck kind of out of the jaw like this.
Gotcha.
And they had some molars to go with it that looked a little different. But that is an awesome fossil.
All right.
People come out looking for that. If you don't find anything else today, that is worth it.
All right, guys, so Paleo Chris and I have a pretty bountiful sack of prehistoric treasure, multiple great white shark teeth, which Chris tells me are incredibly rare for this area, although Team Fossil does have a sloth tooth so far. What do we got here? This is almost like Halloween. You go out, you collect a bunch of candy from your neighbors, and in this instance, it's a bunch of scoops from the bottom of a river. Oh, that's a tooth! That is a tooth.
That's pretty uncommon right there. That's a peccary.
Wow,
Yep.
let me see. Look at that. That's a peccary tooth right there. Look at that, is that a piece of a tooth?
Let's see. Yes. It's a bear tooth.
That's a bear tooth!
It's a bear molar right there.
Bear molar!
No way.
How can you tell?
I've just found them before.
Is that a rare one?
It's an upper rear molar.
Wow.
Yeah, it's probably black bear. Most
Okay.
likely. Yep.
Well, that's definitely a new
Awesome.
species for our list.
Awesome. That's kind of the goal. Like when I go out, if I find a fossil of any kind of carnivore, I'm good. Like that's a good day.
At this point, honestly, fossil fatigue's setting in, so I actually see a really nice tree right up there that I think I could catch a nap on. Man, fossil fatigue. And my fatigue is not only from shoveling scoop after scoop of sediment, but because I found so many fossils. Why do I need to keep searching? Might as well take a nap at this point. Good night.
Do you find yourself falling asleep frequently while out looking for prehistoric treasures? Do your friends work harder than you do? Do you have a serious lack of motivation to keep trying if you don't find a saber-toothed cat skull in the first 5 minutes of searching? If you answer yes to one or all of these questions, then you likely suffer from fossil fatigue. Don't worry, this apparent doom is not your extinction event. FF is curable by simply watching the rest of this episode, like the whole thing, even the call to action. So what are you waiting for? Don't become a fossil, fight the fatigue, and keep watching.
All right, guys, well, it is going on 5 o'clock, which means we have an hour before the light completely disappears, so we are calling it a day. Mario, hold up your bounty bag.
Look at that.
Ooh, I don't know. Ours definitely looks more full. What do you think, Chris?
I think we got more stuff in there.
Well, we're going for quality.
Yeah,
right, Rick?
I think we didn't keep a lot of the junk, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we'll see. What we're gonna do now is actually get up and out of the water into a controlled setting, lay out all of our fossils, and then determine who takes the prize. Now, the 3 categories: number of species, biggest fossil, and rarest fossil. Let's kick it off by counting the number of species that Rick and Mario have collected.
Okay, Rick, take it away since you know what we've got here.
Yeah, we've grouped them together. So we've got mammoth, glyptodont, giant armadillo, a mandible here, fish, alligator, deer, giant sloth, turtle, horse. For shark's teeth, we've got great white sand tiger and bull shark, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 species of shell.
Okay, I have 17.
17.
17.
species.
Okay, 17 species. Wow, that's
tough.
That's impressive. Okay, so Chris, with our fossils laid out, go ahead, count them out.
All right,
Please,
let's see.
18.
We have great white shark, bull shark, hammerhead shark, lemon shark. We have a rodent jaw, peccary teeth, a bear tooth, garfish scales, pufferfish, mouth plates, a piece of a mammoth tooth, coral, horse teeth, deer antler, snake verts, a piece of an armadillo osteoderm, alligator stuff here. We have turtle. I think that's it.
Wow. What? Wait a second, 17?
Yeah.
Because we're not counting random bone
No,
fragments
those-
we can't identify.
Oh, right. These are random.
Yeah, we
Yep.
read.
We just tied on number of species. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah?
Okay, well, when it comes to biggest fossil of the day, I mean, I don't have to look far to realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm no expert, but yeah.
That is a big giant chunk of turtle shell.
Let me see.
That's
Massive.
pretty big.
That is definitely the biggest fossil because our biggest fossil is a piece of giant tortoise shell. Does that make up the difference? Giant
No.
tortoise versus...
It's physically bigger.
Okay, so you guys got the point on largest fossil of the day.
Okay.
Now it comes down to what is the rarest fossil. So on your side, what's the rarest thing you guys came across?
I definitely think Mario's sloth tooth is our rarest fossil. This is rare. It's a good fossil any day. Pretty uncommon. I think that's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, that's a megafauna, right? They're huge.
They would have. This is a smaller tooth from one, but these guys were huge. They had giant claws. Definitely uncommon.
Solid.
Is that the rarest?
On their side, it is.
It is. Okay, what about
Okay.
on our side?
Any carnivore stuff is extremely hard to find.
Okay.
So your bear tooth, I think, tops that
What?
sloth tooth. I think it does.
Rick, what would you say?
I-
Bear tooth rarer than the sloth tooth?
I've got to go with Chris because any predator, even modern day, is definitely more uncommon than the things that
Okay. Okay, you get it.
So we got a point, you guys got a point, and we tied on species, which means that
It's a dead dog.
this whole thing just tied. What are the odds of us tying on our prehistoric treasure hunt? Big thanks to Paleo Chris. Big thanks to Fossil Rick. Make sure you check out their YouTube channels. Guys, I'm definitely ready to go look for some shark teeth.
I'm taking this one.
The island of Kauai is breathtakingly beautiful and has provided an unforgettable cinematic backdrop to some of Hollywood's most iconic films. I could easily read off a list that spans a mile long, but when it comes to the most timeless moment caught on camera, I don't think any of us will ever forget the arrival to Jurassic Park.
That's my official Kauai Jurassic Park shirt with the rooster.
By now we all know that Steven Spielberg's dinosaur masterpiece is my favorite film. However, did you also know that it is YouTube star Devin Supertramp's favorite as well?
What's going on, guys? It's another day off for the Brave Wilderness team, and you're probably saying to yourselves, day off? You're filming an episode. Of course we're filming an episode. An on-location episode where we will be going out with island helicopter tours. Only today it's gonna be a little bit different because I have my friend Devin Graham with me. You may recognize him from the Devin Supertramp channel on YouTube. And today's extra special because we both love Jurassic Park. This is true. Here we go.
With nearly 1 billion views on his channel that originate from some of YouTube's most epic videos, Devin is arguably the best cinematographer on the platform. So working alongside him was nothing short of an honor.
Part of your tour is over the beautiful Napali coastline today, so you'll be flying over the ocean for a short period of time. So the FAA requires that a flotation device be worn around your waist like a fanny pack during the entire flight. And that's what this little yellow pouch is. I'm gonna have everybody gear up. We're not gonna pull on the orange tab today or ever. That is only for emergencies. And I will help you, just hold that.
Devin, don't pull the orange tab. These are kind of stylish.
Oh yeah.
This is the new fanny pack. It can also save your life.
The new fanny pack.
Okay guys, so we have these little booties on our feet to make sure that we keep the environment clean when we get down there at the landing pad. Woo! Captain Gary is firing up the bird over there. I can see that rotor spinning. It's go time.
Getting excited?
Oh yeah!
We have also teamed up with Island Helicopters, Hawaii's only permitted outfitter that has permission to land at one of the most breathtaking locations featured in Jurassic Park, the waterfall. Get ready, because this episode of On Location is going to be an adventure 65 million years in the making.
All right guys, well, I'm pretty much set and ready to go, but I've got some bad news. I was just told inside, you get major motion sickness if you were inside of a helicopter. Anytime I'm on a boat, I'm hanging over the railing, spilling my lunch into the sea. So I apologize in advance if this turns into a puke video.
I think that's us back there. You see that? Is that our bird? I think that's our bird.
Sweet! Woo, this is exciting! My first time on a helicopter! This is epic!
As we loaded into the helicopter, the excitement was through the roof. And before we knew it, the bird was lifting off and the adventure was underway. Our natural instincts as video makers set in, and everyone was doing their best to capture the landscape through the eyes of their respective cameras. But the ride was so intense, it was almost impossible to do anything other than hold on. The Jurassic Falls landing is Kauai's most elite tour, and getting to the touchdown location takes you on an incredible bird's eye view of the island. Gary zigged and zagged through the canyons, getting the helicopter breathtakingly close to the treetops as we buzzed above the beautiful landscape. And while it may seem incredibly dangerous, Gary has decades of experience and thousands of flights under his belt, so we felt completely safe with our lives in his hands. Then, just when the ride couldn't be any more epic, the falls revealed themselves.
I started crying when that music came on. That was great.
What did you think of that, Coyote?
Woo! Didn't get motion sick at all. I was just blown away with the scenery. Got an amazing pilot over here. Gary absolutely nailed that landing. Wow.
So this is where they filmed Jurassic Park. We're both massive Jurassic Park fans. This is what made me want to make movies. So this place is a massive deal for me. It's in the movie where they land the helicopter and they all get out. So this is the entrance to Jurassic Park.
How about that chopper ride? Man.
I've been on about 50 helicopter rides and I've never flown that close to land that fast. Through waterfalls, like everything was right there. Like my adrenaline was going for sure. We do a lot of crazy extreme stuff, so living it up.
That was good. Yeah, man, we came within like, I'm gonna say 20 feet of that one cliff. You were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I honestly think I pooped myself a little bit.
Is this the falls up here? Yeah. So this is probably the road that they drove the classic Jurassic Park Jeeps down. Those awesome Saharas that were all decked out in the Jurassic Park logos that I so desperately want one of those. I think this was the pathway that they then drove off to get into the main course of the park on.
Which we're in the middle of nowhere, so there's no way they could have driven to this spot. They would have had to like fly them in.
They must have helicoptered in the Jeeps to get these shots. And that's the coolest thing about movie sets. It's all about how you stitch the pieces, parts together like a big puzzle. So they shot one thing here, and Steven Spielberg and the crew definitely walked right through this area. It's so cool to step foot in the same place as these legends. Wow, look at this! Oh, mackerel! What? Come on! Come on, are you serious? That must be where it was built, right there. That was the original landing pad. You see some of the structure that still exists. Helicopter came straight down the falls. Woo! This is probably the most epic spot that I've ever visited, certainly for an on-location episode. All right, guys, well, this is it. Jurassic Falls. I cannot tell you what it feels like to be in this exact spot where the helicopter in the film came and touched down and the crew got out and experienced Jurassic Park for the first time. I mean, this is a movie that for me as a kid inspired me, made me want to make films. How about you, Devin?
It changed my life, like no exaggeration. So being on the location is next level. And the mist, the water, you feel it all, the sounds, and yeah, this is in real life.
What's incredible is the energy that you can feel radiating from this spot. So I imagine as the crew stepped out of the helicopter, I'll never forget the look on Sam Neill's face when he stepped out, looking at what was to be Jurassic Park. What it must have been like to be part of that crew making it, not knowing that this movie was going to be one of the greatest films ever in cinema history. And it started right at this spot. Woo! That's amazing.
Right here.
Try to just get as many shots as we can. We still have to get back to the helicopter here and buzz all around the island, but I wish I could go out there and swim. They don't like to do that, but it looks beautiful out there. You can feel all the mist coming off of the falls. Devin's down here just getting some shots. 8K today. This stuff is gonna look epic.
We have 20 minutes here and you can spend all day here. So this is like a love-hate relationship because I can be here all day. But you gotta do what you gotta do. We are off.
I feel like John Hammond at the end when he had to leave the park after the T-Rex ate the raptors.
We're rushing. We could stay there all day like easy, no problem. But there's another heli that's trying to land. We've kind of pushed our limits, so everyone's getting in and we're off.
Okay guys, so Gary is gonna actually take us to the falls. We're gonna slowly drop down just like the helicopter did in the movie. This is gonna be something else. That's crazy! Woo! And we are off, continuing the tour. Last time we zipped around the island for these canyons. All right, I'm turning the camera this way. You guys are gonna want to see this. Now I know what it feels like to be a drone. This is epic.
Since its release in the summer of 1993, Jurassic Park has continued to captivate the imaginations of anyone who has seen the movie. Just like Devin and I, who have seen it more times than we can count. For the two of us, traveling by helicopter and getting the incredible chance to land at Jurassic Falls was a dream come true. And I have a feeling that this won't be the last time you see the brave wilderness team working alongside YouTube's greatest cinematographer, Devin Supertramp.
Well, we have landed. Nobody threw up in the helicopter.
Almost.
Even me. I know you're feeling a little queasy right now,
I didn't think
right?
I would at all, but I'm still a little iffy, give or take.
All I know is that this felt like an adventure 65 million years in the making. Devin, thank you so much for coming out with us today. I'm sure you got some epic shots. We got epic shots. And stay tuned, guys, because I have a feeling that there's some more Jurassic-sized adventures to come from both me and Devin.
If you love dinosaurs and Jurassic Park as much as we do, and would like to follow in our footsteps, you too can fly in a helicopter and land at Jurassic Falls. All you have to do is visit Island Helicopter's website and book your adventure today. Roughly 20 million years ago, one of the largest and most dominant predators to ever inhabit the planet lurked in the watery depths of our oceans. Averaging nearly 50 feet in length, it was a voracious eating machine. Even its name means giant tooth. And strangely enough, the only thing left today that proves its existence are its teeth, fossilized teeth. And that is exactly what we will be hunting for. All right, we are making progress upriver right now. We've got a slight drizzle coming down, and it's perfectly setting the scene for searching out here in the wilderness for shark teeth. On this journey back in time, we are once again working alongside Paleo Chris and Fossil Rick. These two bonehounds have a trove of top secret locations, and special permits granted by the state of Florida allow them to explore for and collect prehistoric treasure. Between 25 million and 2.6 million years ago, which was defined as the late Oligocene through the Pliocene epochs, Florida was completely submerged beneath the ocean waves, which means that today, the Sunshine State is a hotbed for fossilized shark teeth of all species, including the Megalodon.
Now, why are we only finding teeth? Do we find any skeletal remains of sharks?
That's a great question. Everybody may be wondering, well, you're gonna find a whole shark skeleton? No, we're not, because shark skeletons are actually made of cartilage. So that disintegrates as a shark dies and falls to the bottom of its body of water. All we will find are the teeth.
Right, so the teeth are the only clue as to what this species may look like and how big they can get. And of course, the Megalodon is the biggest of all sharks ever.
The last time Mario and I worked with Paleo Chris and Fossil Rick, our friendly competition for discovering prehistoric treasure ended in a tie. So we have once again set the stakes. Now we've set up the challenge a bit differently today. It's still Team Paleo versus Team Fossil. And today we're gonna have an hour clock. Now the goal is to see who can find the most shark teeth, who can find the biggest shark tooth, and who can find the most brilliant tooth. Now Mario and I will be sifting along the edges while Chris and Rick actually dive to the far embankment. The reason they're going to the far side of the embankment with deep water is because as the water curves around the edge, all those teeth collect down into the deep pockets. With any luck, today, we're gonna find maybe 1,000 shark teeth. All right, guys, you got buckets?
Got them.
All right. Oh, wow, we got teeth here, guys. All right, Mario, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, that's bone. Here's the tooth.
Oh, there's another tooth.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
Oh, and there's a tiger. We got a meg fragment and a tiger shark.
Oh boy, there's another tiger right there.
That's actually a more rare species of tiger shark's tooth.
Oh.
Wow, that's awesome. Biggest piece yet for sure.
Oh, look at that. Is that a snaggle? So the cool thing
bam.
about these teeth
is the bottom teeth evolve differently. So the bottom teeth are shaped like this to hook into the flesh, and the top teeth are more like blades for sawing. So a pretty deadly combination when you have grippling teeth holding onto it, and the top are just sawing at it. I love those teeth. They're my favorite teeth to find.
Gotta have faith. Come on, Meg teeth. It's amazing how many small teeth there are. You guys have to keep in mind that sharks are replacing their teeth constantly throughout the course of their lives. A shark can have as many as 10,000 teeth throughout its life cycle. And as these teeth are constantly being lost and rejuvenated, that's what's giving us the opportunity to find them in this fossilized state.
When it comes to oceanic dominance, the Megalodon was without question a force to be reckoned with. But over time, there are a variety of sharks that swam in this area, including tiger sharks, mako sharks, snaggletooth, lemon, and bull sharks. So while the Meg hails as the holy grail of teeth to find, when it comes to collecting 1,000 shark teeth, all species are fair game. Uh-oh, looks like someone has slipped into a state of fossil fatigue.
Alright, why don't you get fossil fatigue?
Why don't I get fossil fatigue? Because I have patience. And because when you have patience, then you're going to find stuff. Look, I'm already finding tons of teeth. You gotta pay attention to the details. He just wants like a huge tooth, but of course, one of the categories is the most teeth. So any one counts, even these little teeny tiny ones.
Wow, that is an entire container filled with gravel. We're gonna have to shovel out a scoop at a time. Let's see how many teeth we can find.
All right, let's do it.
Starting to find the good stuff now. No big Meg teeth yet though. The Megalodon teeth can be rather difficult to come across, so gotta just keep searching.
Yeah, we're not getting on my side there.
Oh, sweet snaggletooth shark. That right there, even though it's not huge, could be a contender for best tooth. All right, so Chris and Rick have returned with what we're considering the last 2 buckets. We have 15 minutes until the competition's over. Chris, how you feeling about this bucket?
Pretty good, man. Looks
Oh
good.
yeah, look at that. Holy cow, look at that. What?
That is a Meg.
Holy cow, that is our first big Meg tooth of the day. That is a good tooth right there, my friend. About the clock ticking right now. We're not necessarily going for quantity as much as we are going for size and perfection.
Okay.
Wow, look at that. That's a pretty good one right there.
Ooh, that's a crazy tiger shark tooth.
Thorough.
Oh, look at that.
Look at this guy.
Okay,
that's a nice one.
There's a fragment of a huge tooth.
That's a big one.
Holy cow, look at that right there. What? Look at that.
Whoa.
Holy cow, look at the size of that tooth. Not a perfect tooth, but that's big. That could be contention for...
Right there.
Oh yeah, another piece there. Wow, you guys did hit the jackpot. Holy cow.
Now, I love your guys' enthusiasm. You've been doing this for how long, Rick?
I've picked up probably 1 million teeth, but every single one I love getting, man.
That's awesome. It's like you guys just have that genuine enthusiasm, even though you've done this for a long time. You've seen many teeth, but it still excites you.
I tell you, the competition, oh my.
What is that?
Chris, I need Paleo Chris over here.
Uh-oh.
What is this, man?
Oh, that's a killer fossil. It's a dolphin tooth.
What?
It's an extinct species of dolphin.
A dolphin tooth?
You guys didn't even say we could find dolphin teeth.
Oh, awesome.
Wow, we
Oh, man.
Holy cow, look at that right there. Look at that tooth. Look at that tooth. That is a Meg tooth.
Let me see. Look how nice
Look at that. Look at that tooth. That may be the best tooth of the day. I guess we'll wait and see. Lots to still go through.
Look. Oh, man. Wow, these are gorgeous Mako. Holy cow. Those Makos are phenomenal. 100% complete, and that Meg is pretty darn good, too.
All right, Chris, that looks like that's pretty much the end of it. We are just at about 1 hour exactly. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. We've gone just over an hour.
That's it.
Not finding anything else in this. Should we go take a look at what we've got?
Let's do it.
All right, so what we're gonna do is spread out all of these teeth on top of a table. 1/2 for Team Paleo, 1/2 for Team Fossil. We'll find out who has the most teeth, who has the biggest tooth, and who has the best looking tooth.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Team Fossil is gonna count off their piles and then their prize teeth. Other species don't count for this competition.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 400 right there.
Those are piles of 100. Okay, 400.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
Wow, 450.
450.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 470.
470, okay. That's impressive. We decided to divide ours down into 10. So I'll go 10s up to 100, and why don't you just kind of keep track in case we lose track. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 92. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 93. 10, 20. 320, we're not even gonna come close. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 332 to 470.
All right.
Oh, you guys definitely got the point in quantity. Looks like my fossil fatigue may have burnt us on this one, Chris. Oh no, oh no. Okay, so Team Fossil takes the point on quantity. Now it comes down to size. Who has the biggest tooth? This is gonna be tough to tell. So for you guys, that is definitely a really big tooth, but so is this.
Right.
We've got more tip, you've got more back. Now when it comes down to the actual length of what that tooth would be, we might have you beat on length, but in weight,
so typically,
With shark's teeth.
with shark's teeth, it is usually almost always measured in length.
okay?
Okay.
You guys got us on weight, not necessarily on length.
But still, isn't it the length like from the tip to the root?
It is.
It is.
And they still have us beat, I think, on the length.
Got you
Okay.
on the
It's
length.
close. It's really
Okay.
Okay, so we're tied 1-1
Okay,
again.
1-1.
So what we're gonna do now is determine the best tooth by putting our 3 best teeth in the center of the table. I went ahead and I got this little secret pocket right here. I may have been stashing a couple of goodies.
What do you mean?
What do we have there? That's a pretty good looking tooth.
There's
Let's see what
serrations
else
on
is
there.
in this pocket. This may have been my best find of the day. That tiger tooth. Okay, so now when it comes to quality of shark teeth, what is it that you look for that determines what is a pristine tooth?
You look for how nice the enamel is. You look for if there's any missing serrations, any chips, any damage.
Okay.
That might be a good size one, but look at that.
Yeah, it's got some wear and tear to
look
it.
at this
The enamel
there.
on that's pretty amazing.
That's maple smooth.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, this would probably be our weakest link. This is your weakest link, so put those 2 up there. Wow, that is a really tough call. We've got them beat in size and serration, but they've got us beat in uniqueness and enamel. You know what I think we need to do? Leave this one up to the audience. Guys, write in the comments section below and tell us which one of these teeth do you think is the best and who wins, Team Paleo or Team Fossil? All right, to break the tie between Team Fossil and Team Paleo, we need you guys to vote. Which tooth is the best? Is it Team Fossil with this tooth? We'll call that number 1. Team Fossil with tooth number 2. Team Paleo with tooth number 3. Or Team Paleo with tooth number 4. Write in the comments section below because you guys are gonna break the tie. Chris, Rick, thank you guys so much for taking us out today to one of your top secret spots. Guys, make sure to check out their YouTube channels. This was so much fun, heading out into the wild to find shark teeth. Woo, man, finding shark teeth is so cool. The largest megalodon tooth ever discovered measured a whopping 7 inches from root to tip. So I'd say we fell a bit short of breaking any records today. But that doesn't mean we didn't have a blast looking for prehistoric treasure. Look at that too! Somehow Paleo Chris and Fossil Rick never seem to run out of energy.
So to keep up with their adventures, make sure to follow them on social media and stay tuned because our next prehistoric collaboration is already in the works. Thermopolis, Wyoming may not be the largest town in the United States, but what they lack in population size, they make up for with a charm that even the world's greatest cities would envy. From the nation's largest natural mineral hot spring, yes, it is hot, to Pickle Pops.
This might take a while.
In case you didn't know, this is the birthplace of these salty summer treats.
Oh man, so many pickles.
Thermopolis has it all. Today I'm returning to one of my favorite locations, the Wyoming Dinosaur Center. This renowned museum has one of the nation's most impressive fossil collections. But what really sets them apart is the fact that several of their dig sites are just a stone's throw away. Something interesting is arguably their most famous site, and it's this deposit of Jurassic treasure where I unearthed the tooth of an Allosaurus.
Holy Jurassic! It's a dinosaur tooth!
This is pretty much the coolest fossil I have ever found. It was the highlight of my summer. And then Mario found a tooth that was bigger. So technically, he won the Who Can Find a Bigger Dinosaur Tooth contest. But don't worry, guys. Once we go looking for T-Rex teeth, I'm going to take the title back when I find an entire T-Rex skull. Don't give up on your dreams, kids. Anything is possible. Speaking of epic finds, recently the field paleontologists at Wyoming Dinosaur Center made an incredible discovery. Hiding amongst the 150 million year old Morrison Formation, they came upon what now hails as Wyoming's smallest known dinosaur. And today, we are going to debut it on camera for the very first time.
Right now we are behind the scenes at the Wyoming Dinosaur Center, and I'm about to meet up with Jessica, who is the educational director here. Okay, so when I look down here on the paper, I see what look like maybe some bone maps, some layouts of the skeleton, and I also see Velociraptor over there.
Yes, so we do have a bone quarry map here, and then we have a skeletal diagram of the elements that we have found. And since this specimen is related to Velociraptor, that is why you're seeing Velociraptor on the paper.
Okay, so that probably gives you guys an indicator. We're gonna be looking at a new species of raptor today. And I know what everybody wants to see are the bones.
That's correct.
Can we take a look at the actual fossils?
Perfect, yeah, let's go do it.
Following you? All right, let's go see this raptor's bones. This is gonna be cool.
Okay, well here it is.
This is it?
This is it, yes.
This is not what I was expecting when you said Velociraptor. Now, this is tiny. You're telling me this is an entire raptor skeleton?
It is. It's a maniraptorian, so it is related to a raptor, but it is actually a troodontid. A troodontid is a form of a maniraptorian.
Okay, now does this raptor have an official name?
It does. We are calling it the Lori specimen,
but
its genus name is Hesperoornithoides.
Hesperoornithoides?
Yes.
That's a tough one. Now, was this discovered here in Thermopolis?
No, it was actually discovered near Douglas, Wyoming.
Douglas, Wyoming, because I was going to say if it was discovered in Thermopolis, you could call it the Thermoraptor.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Which would be pretty cool. That's a tough one to say. So it's going to be referred to then most commonly as the Lori specimen?
Yes.
So what are we looking at here? I can see that there's definitely some, can I tilt the box up for the cameras?
Yep,
Is
just
that okay?
a little bit, yep.
Okay, wow. So that's the skull right there.
Yes, so this is the front part of the skull. You can see the teeth.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we have some neck vertebrae here. We also have the tibia right here, which is the lower leg bone, and then the other tibia over here, and then part of the hand.
So how was this species discovered?
So it was actually accidentally discovered with a shovel.
Really?
Yeah.
And I know from my experience digging with you guys this past week, it's all about being extremely delicate with not only the substrate itself, but then also once you find a fossil. So you were telling me not to use a pickaxe when I was out there, and you're telling me this little tiny raptor was discovered with a shovel?
Yes, so some overburden was being removed, and they weren't expecting to find anything there, but they did.
So you're saying this is a newly described species. How can you tell us compared to the other raptors?
So we had to look at different parts of the skeleton and compare those to known specimens. And there really isn't anything around in the Jurassic, in the late Jurassic, that lines up with this.
Okay, so this is a late Jurassic dinosaur.
Yes.
A true Jurassic raptor. So what are these pieces that we're looking at here? Just other small bones?
So there are some little tail vertebrae here, and then these are the cervical ribs.
Wow. And then, of course, can I pick that up?
Yep, you may pick that up.
Oh my gosh, this is it. Look at that tiny little sickle-shaped claw. Amazing. I can only imagine what it would be like to be attacked by a pack of these. Like a gazillion little paper cuts out of a claw of that size. Now, are you guys gonna try to extract the entire skeleton from this matrix?
No, we're gonna leave it in here just because it is just too delicate, and it will be more stable if it's still left in the matrix that it's in.
Okay, so these are the actual bones, but you guys have built a prototype of what this skeleton would look like if it was fully articulated, correct?
We have. So we did 3D scan all of these bones and all the blocks, and we had a company in Idaho do that, and then they 3D printed it.
Okay, and what you guys can't see yet is that it is right over here to my left. Should we take a look at the full skeleton?
Yes.
This is it, the ultimate reveal. There it is, the Lori specimen. An absolute terror, if you ask me. I mean, big dinosaurs are terrifying in a certain sense, right? To think, all right, if I was being hunted by a pack of Deinonychus, Utah raptors, or maybe even Velociraptor, but a bunch of these guys, those are like chickens with very, very sharp claws.
Yeah.
And you know, the first thing that I notice are the very distinct sickle claws on the toes. I think that's everybody's absolute favorite. And even at that size, we would only be looking at bone. It would still have a sheath over it, right? Made of keratin. So it would be even longer and even sharper.
It would, yes. And actually our claw that we have here may even have some of the sheath still preserved.
Oh, I see that just on the tip there. That's very cool. I noticed that it also has very long forelimbs, almost like a wing type structure.
Yes, possibly, yeah.
So do you think that this specimen will then be used to try to connect any lineage between birds and dinosaurs and avian versus non-avian species?
Yes, so it is a paravian. It's in that clade.
Okay. This will be another one of the unique species you guys have here. I mean, in the collection, there are so many incredible fossils that you can't find anywhere else in the United States. You guys have Archaeopteryx, you've got the big Jimbo, the sauropod, and now the Lori specimen.
Yeah, and Jimbo's our largest dinosaur that was found in Wyoming, and Lori is our smallest dinosaur that was found in Wyoming, and they were both found together.
Whoa, they were found together?
Yes.
Hold on a second, back up. Jimbo and Lori were found together in the same quarry?
Yes.
What are the odds of that? Do you think Jimbo may have squashed Lori and that's how they ended up together?
No, so Lori was actually found about 10 centimeters above the Jimbo layer.
And what does that mean, 10 centimeters above? Like later on in time?
Yes.
Okay. So that is so cool. You guys will now officially have the largest and the smallest dinosaur specimens in the state of Wyoming here at the center.
Yes, we will.
How special is that for you guys to have found a new raptor species like this?
So it's special in the fact that it's staying here in the state, because that's part of our mission here at the museum, is to keep our fossils here in Wyoming so they don't leave. But it also helps us out because we are a nonprofit, and the more specimens we have to show the public, the better.
So if you're seeing this video right now, it means that Lori is now officially on display at the Wyoming Dinosaur Center. So many cool specimens that you guys can see and get up close with. And then of course, if you want, head out on a tour into the field to actually do some digging at one of the sites. Jess, thank you so much for taking us behind the scenes to see the Lori specimen. I can't wait to share this with the rest of the world. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next Prehistoric Adventure.
Since the theatrical release of Jurassic Park in 1993, the word raptor has dazzled the imagination of anyone that loves dinosaurs. And while a 6-foot-tall prehistoric predator entering your kitchen is a terrifying thought, just imagine 25 chicken-sized raptors chasing you through a foggy Jurassic forest. Hint, hint, Mr. Spielberg. If you would like to see this Microraptor in person, the little murder bird is now on display to the public at Wyoming Dinosaur Center. And I promise you, it's impressive.